you are audible.
Uh, shall we wait for a while, sir?
We'll see if other faculties are here or not. Yeah, I think ma'am is here, so we can start. Ma'am is there, Ram is also here. We can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Myself Abhishek Rai. I am a first year PhD scholar here, and I hope all you are doing great. So, I would like to introduce Professor Syam and Professor Sahana. We would like to welcome you all to the open house of ET, and where the questions you might be having regarding the PhD we'll try to answer. And before that, we'd like to introduce our department, how the trust areas are there, what type of work we do, and what are the placements, the more lucrative thing you guys are waiting for. So I will hand over it to Professor Sam.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Syaamantak, Assistant Professor in the Center for Education and Technology. I'm also the faculty in charge for the postgraduate and PhD admissions. So, welcome to this open house for CET. So, in the next 1 hour, we'll be taking you through the various aspects of doing research here at Center for Education and Technology as a PhD student. What are the our core trust areas for research? What are the facilities that you get? What is your life as a research scholar here in CET, IIT Bombay, etc. So along with me, we have two more faculties. Professor Sahana Murthy, she is the head for the Center for Education and Technology, and along with me, along with Professor Murthy, we have Professor Ramkumar Rajendran, who looks in associate professor, who also looks into the learning analytics and educational data mining area. So, without wasting any time, let me hand over it to Professor Sahana Murthy. Ma'am.
Sure. Thank you, Professor Syaamantak. Thanks, Abhishek. And welcome, good afternoon, and welcome to all of you to this open house. I'm really happy to see some of you here. And like Professor Shah mentioned, in the next hour or so, we'll sort of walk you through the different aspects of what we do in our department. And especially, this is the group of people who are interested in applying for PhD. So we'll sort of orient it in that direction. Okay. So before we start with the concrete details, I just thought it's a good idea to get a sense of your domain backgrounds. And the reason is educational technology is an interdisciplinary center, and there are aspects, there are topics, concepts, methods from a variety of disciplines that we draw to address the problems that we have chosen. And primarily, we are looking at learning and teaching, and maybe a little other broader aspects of education, not too broad also, but a little bit into policy and all, with the help of technology. Okay, that's the core of what we do. So maybe since there are only 5 or 6 of you, perhaps you can just quickly either unmute your mic or put in chat which domain background are you from, so that we also get a sense. Just while we have Veronica, Swarnima, Shashur, Sakshi, Gaurish, Deepak. Two people called Deepak, I think. Ashwin. Okay, SW. All right. Yeah, just put it because why I asked you this is we have students coming from education backgrounds. We have students into the PhD program from other social science backgrounds. We have students coming from engineering domains. We have students coming from natural sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics. So we have a large number of areas from in our pool. So looks like the people who are today are all MEd. Okay, there's one person MTech ARVR from IIT Jodhpur. Otherwise MEd, MSW. Okay, fine, thanks. So this is a good, it's a good sense for us to know where you're from. And any questions you may have with respect to, technology, for example, because this is an education technology department program. You can go ahead. In terms of our coursework, we'll get into details, but we do have courses which focus both on the technology aspects as well as on the learning and education aspects. Okay, so we do have, you will have to get deeper in detail into both these disciplines. So I think I'll pause here and hand it back to Abhishek to give an overview of the department. Welcome again.
Hello all. So, uh, like you will be talking about education technology, like it's a amalgamation of education and technology. So, what is education technology? It is the use of education theories, practices, and technology to facilitate learning. So, even like when you talk about technology, we think like it's like AI and other VR setup and other things. We also work on the basics teacher training phases of this and the other aspects of having different disciplines coming together and providing teaching and learning. The main focus of education technology is to facilitate learning in a broader way and to for so, who we are? We were established in 2010 as an interdisciplinary program and became a center in 2024. We have five core faculties and 10 adjunct faculties. Currently, we have 47 PhD scholars, 20 MTech students, and 15 associate faculty, postdocs, project staff, and interns. Our vision of the center is to be a source of ideas and innovation in technology for education and pedagogies for technology enhanced education. And the mission of the center is to nurture research, innovation, and outreach leadership among its faculty and students in areas of educational technology that are critical to the Indian context. The timeline of our from inception 2010 to 2000 and currently is has been like this, which rules about that introduction from design and development, start of outreach, teaching 10,000 students, having multiple conferences, IEEE, EdTech, hosting them, having 100 plus 500 plus student trained using learning environments. We started a MOOC. Two MOOC courses were offered. For these courses of MOOC, we'll be talking further also. Some MTech courses were also started with AR and VR, and this is something interesting to talk about also. So we use 3D printing, whichever type of emerging technologies are coming in, we try to include them in our department and coursework. So this is all everything which coming in. We also, after the 10 years of completion, we launched the EdTech Decade of EdTech book launch, and one of the latest thing is EdTech Society. And also we have been presenting ourselves in the lead all over the world in the domain of education technology with ICC and other ICC, LAC, CAI, EID, and other conferences and other education symposiums. So now I would like to hand it over to my colleague Samarth, who will be talking about the thrust areas in education technology. Over to you, Samarth.
Yes. Thank you, Abhishek. I hope I'm audible. And apologies, my camera is not working, so you only will have to listen to my voice. I'll try to make it as engaging as possible. So, good evening, everyone. I am Samarth Kashyap. I'm a first year PhD scholar at the department. I have a background in education, as I see quite a few of you also have. I did a Master of Arts degree in education, and I'm here to talk to you about the key domains of work of our department. So our department strongly believes in the idea of virtuous cycles, a system where every aspect informs and helps enhance every other aspect. And so is true for the four areas that you are seeing in front of you, that are designed in such a way that each one supports and enhances the other three. Let's get to know a little bit more about them. The first thrust area, the first thrust area addresses the persistent and very important need of our educational ecosystem, and that is teachers' use of educational technology. To address a need in the field means that research should reach to those who need its outputs. And this is the vision that fuels the thrust area of our department, all the thrust areas of our department. TUET, which is Teachers' Use of Educational Technology, is a cycle of 3 arms: researching into effective frameworks and models, developing relevant tools and curricula based on the research, and deploying them through our outreach initiatives. The feedback from which again helps refine the research and development. A significant product of this cycle is the learner-centric MOOCs model. The LCM model is created to help instructors understand, create, and deploy learner-centric massive online open courses, which is the MOOCs of their own. The model that you are seeing has helped generate a MOOC of its own, a learner-centric MOOC of its own on Swayam NPTEL that has been successfully running since the past 9 years. It saw its 9th iteration this year and has seen an enrollment of more than 10,000 learners over the years. These are some of the examples of scholar research that leads to products like the LCM model. For instance, our scholar Ishika and Sanchita are working on design and implementation of Gen AI-enabled learning design frameworks and instructional content for learners with specific learning disorders, respectively. Similarly, our scholar Alisha Sinha is working on technology-supported pedagogical model for teaching sustainable spatial strategies. The next thrust area is technology-enhanced learning of disciplinary practices. What you see in front of you, now think of any profession. For instance, scientists, engineers, designers, or anyone else. You will find that all of them have many or all of the practices that you are seeing on the screen right now. Often, when we think about education, these knowledge and skills are not something that come to our mind. But our department strongly believes that these are areas that should be focused on. Let's look at how we do so through the projects that our scholars are working on. For instance, Dr. Navneet Kaur worked on uncertainty management in engineering design. Dr. Ulfa worked on estimation in computer-supported collaborative learning. Dr. Harold looked at perspective taking in a VR simulated environment. And Dr. Sunita Raste worked at understanding chromosomal disorders by role-playing as a geneticist. The next thrust area is educational data analytics. Educational data analytics, as the name suggests, is dealing with a large amount of data. Here, we design environments or we go to environments, different types of learning environments, and collect all the kinds of data that we can with tools such as eye tracker, log data, EEG, which is the electroencephalogram, face cameras, GSR. This data helps us understand how learning happens in the given environment, in the environment that we are studying. Once we have an insight into how it happens, it helps us design, develop, and deploy different solutions that can help enhance the learning in that environment. So the vision of data analytics is to create theory-based learning models, one of which you saw in TUET, which is the LCM. The areas that it looks into are cognition and affect, learner engagement and learner behavior, metacognition, and self-regulation. But these are just a few examples. The areas are much more than this. These are a couple of examples of the projects that our scholars have worked on. For instance, Dr. Pankaj Chavan worked on developing teacher-facing dashboards that collect real-time student feedback. Dr. Shiv Sevak Negi studied learning through subtitled media. Devesh Singh is studying learning Python through actionable feedback in a system that he himself designed called PyGuru. And Dr. Romana Pathan looked at identifying and modeling cognitive and metacognitive processes in complex problem solving. Now, educational technology obviously has a strong component of technology. And over the years, we have seen technology improve by leaps and bounds. The thrust area emerge, which is exploration of emerging technologies for education, looks into how these technologies can be leveraged or are already being leveraged in different learning settings. So when we think of new technology, what comes to mind? AR, VR, which is augmented reality, virtual reality, extended reality, so on and so forth. Emerge looks at the different ways in which these tools are already being used or can be used to enhance the teaching learning in different learning environments. Some projects that have come out of the emerged thrust area are GeoSolver, Combat, and StereoChem. What's unique about these projects and also highlight of our department are that these are course projects. They were given as a semester-long project in different courses, and what resulted in was a deployable product. So GeoSolver and StereoChem leverage augmented reality to teach some domains, and Combat uses a Fitbit-like wearable device called MyoBand and helps learners learn the right form of making shots in badminton. Some other projects that have come out of the emerged thrust area are fostering computational thinking, using eye tracking to understand self-regulated learning, investigating learning processes in a virtual reality environment, and assessing continuum of electrical engineering expertise through a through a simulation and eye track through simulation. The most recent developments that have come out in Emerge are related to AI, because over the years, over the past half a decade, we have seen AI take up the field of education by storm. The three the three initiatives that you are viewing on your screen have come out of different research projects. The first one is the AI proficiency taxonomy. The second one is a the second one is a set of guidelines for the use of generative AI in educational research and development. And the third one is a mode-based AI-assisted programming learning environment. It is the integrated development environment that can be used to learn and practice competitive coding. Now I would like to hand over to my colleague Kalyani, who will take us through the department projects and collaborations. And thank you for listening.
Good morning. I am Kalyani and I am a communication designer and now first year PhD at CET IIT Bombay. I will talk about department projects and collaboration. Along with PhD and coursework, our department also engages and collaborates with different organizations in industry and academia. Akshara Foundation is one of them. So Akshara Foundation, uh, we made a classroom engagement evaluation framework under Ganit Kalika Andolan. It was a large-scale initiative to improve primary maths outcome. And the framework integrates IPAC, that is interactive, constructive, active, and passive. The 5E model, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, was used using CRA approach, that is concrete, representational, and abstract. It is a data-driven improvement pedagogy, effective TLM use case, and overall classroom engagement at scale. Now, EdTech Tulna, it was a collaborative project between IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, and Central Square Foundation. We have so many EdTech products in the market, but how we know they are effective for our use case? So EdTech Tulna helps us differentiate or compare using pedagogy, content, accessibility, and usability in mind. Next collaboration we did with NTNU Norway. This international exchange program of IITB and NTNU enabled students to understand and enhance AI education through hands-on project-based learning approach and to solve real-world problem solving, client-based projects, and continue mentorship. Next department project was with Technology Innovation Hub. People who are interested in IoT, IoE, this is very interesting for them. Effective tech tutoring system, the objective was to understand student emotions, to provide interactive, effective, and engagement feedback. And again, all of this was compiled in a multimodal emotional recognition framework. The next project we developed was Personalized Adaptive Math Tutoring System, SBI India Hub funded. So we developed a PAL project that was also part of Adaptive Tutoring System course using Gen AI. Next is PRISM. So PRISM is a practitioner research India summits. It is done with collaboration with EdTech Society India and CET IIT Bombay. It is a structured mentorship program to help practitioners in the field of education, such as educators, people working in EdTech organization, to conduct studies and write publishable research papers. Every year, T4E is a conference that also help is there in the under this prism only, and I also as a first year PhD attended that. Now I would like to hand over to Arun.
Hi, everyone. I hope I want to. No, okay. Talking about academic outreach, as prospective PhD scholars, we would like to give you a glimpse about the major education technology conferences. When you look at this, you see them as research ecosystems that our department is actively part of. So that's one way of like looking at it. These conferences like CHI, ISLS, LAC are key spaces where works in LLS, EdTech and AI in education get discussed, critiqued, and shaped. And scholars from our department has partaken in these listed conferences, which are happening in countries like Italy, Japan, South Korea, Norway, and so on. So when you join here at IIT as PhD scholars, you won't be working in isolation. You will be entering a community which has largely engaged with these academic dialogues by presenting, publishing papers and posters. Now shifting from conferences to something equally important, which is cultural activities, which our department embodies. Let's, as you can see, the last image, which is Palgar study, which we recently visited as part of our learning science course. Now, let's look at the most indispensable and one of my favorite cultural facet of our department, which is Friday meeting, which happens ritually every week from 3 p.m., where activities ranging from invited faculties will be presenting papers, scholars from our department will be sharing their project updates, discussing relevant academic papers, and we will even play games which are relevant to our research interest also. So we have ensured to spread our tentacles as far as possible to co-curricular activities ranging from different sports. And there is one happy news to inform, which is we are the current reigning cultural champions in the institute. And focusing on the recreational activities, we often go for outdoor activities, which include cycling, visiting nearby beaches, and sightseeing. And celebrations include from personal to which even excite your creative interest. Like if you are a good singer, like you are into dancing, it's a good. We have like the room to flourish that skill of yours, and we even celebrate small things from birthdays to grand cultural events. So focusing on the cultural stretching from our cultural position and focusing on the combustion diversity in the department, I would like to now talk on how versatile we are in our composition. So we are research scholars ranging from diverse fields like biology, physics, mathematics, architecture, sociology like myself, in addition to scholars from technical background like engineering. So as you can see in word cloud, the different department orientation we are coming from. So embracing this diversity, the course structure and research orientation of our department have ensured to accommodate the scholars and their different expertise equally. We identify the rich disciplinary composition as an opportunity for collaboration, which can help in opening new avenues epistemologically. That's how it has happened for me, as well as my co-researchers, and we believe it will be same for you as well. And I'll be handing over to Abhishek. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. So the major part, what happens after PhD. So this is a layer. So I will be presenting the list of our alumni, how and where they are working or employed at, and where they are associated with. So we have Dr. Pankaj Chavan, currently assistant professor at CET, IIT Jodhpur. Dr. Lakshmi Ganesh, she is a adjunct professor here at IIT Bombay. Flame University, we have Dr. Rajesh Prasad. At UNESCO, we have Dr. Anurup Deep. And these the list we are presenting currently is not just limited to them. We have an extensive list of our alumni there. This is just for the setting an example at the placement records of the PhD post PhD process. Now I will like to call upon our professors and I open the floor for questions. Professor Shyam.
Okay, thank you everyone for the presentation. So I can see there are a few set of questions in the chat box, and I would like to answer them one by one. First is from Adityan, who is asking, are these open to working employees? How it is going to be different from the regular program? Okay, so Adityan, there are two ways an working employee can get admitted into a PhD program. One is if you are a college teacher, so you can apply for the college teacher category. The second one is a sponsored mode where your organization is sponsoring you for doing the PhD here. So the first year is compulsorily you have to stay in campus, do the coursework, finish all the prerequisite for as far as the credit is required. From second year onwards, you are allowed to work with back to your organization, but you have to meet uh, the faculty at least once a week. And if you're from Mumbai, you have to be here once a week in the department to be a part of the regular activities. Okay. So depending upon whether you are a college teacher or a non-college teacher working in some other organization, these are the two options that you have uh, as a part-time or as a working employee. So how it is going to be different from regular program? The only thing is that your coursework remains same. First year it's same for all. Some second year onwards, you don't attend regularly in the institute, but you do keep in touch with your supervisor and RTC members who is responsible for evaluating your overall progress in the thesis, and you have to make regular presentations once in every year to show your how and or what progress you are making annually. Okay, I hope it answers your questions. We have a question from Deepak Shukla. Can I pursue a PhD with only only a net qualification? And if so, how does the lack of JRF impact the selection process? So Deepak, it depends on whether you want to apply for the TA category or as a FA category. So in case you are applying for the FA category, the current net qualification has three different verticals. One is the assistant professorship only, second one is the JRF, and the third one is PhD only. So if you're applying for the financial assistant in the fellowship award category, which is the FA category, you need to have a junior research fellowship approved in your in the JRF letter. Okay, because otherwise you will not get the required stipend to do the PhD for the subsequent years. There's a question from Adil. I gave net in 2024. Can I still apply? Well, if you have qualified and if you have a valid net score, you can still apply. Okay. Adil has a follow-up question. Can we do a joint PhD with international universities? Yes, IIT do have some schemes where you can do joint PhD, but that admission process is different from the one which we're talking here. Okay, so there are IITB Monash University scheme where you can do a joint PhD with Monash. There is also recently we have a tie-up with some universities in Japan. So those admission process is slightly different from the normal one that we are talking here. Nivedita's question is, should NET be in education only or in any other discipline would be fine? it's okay as long as it is a JRF if you're applying in the FA category. Okay. Deepak's question: what specific skill set and research background are most valued for admission into the PhD program? Okay, so there is no specific skill set or research background that is required for admission into the PhD program. We are just looking into that how motivated you are in trying to do the PhD. Okay, so see, PhD at the end is a long-term process. It does not happen overnight. So you should have that mindset that, okay, I am willing to learn. I am willing to go through that grind to over next 4 5 years to find a optimum solution for a educational problem. Okay, so and for that, whatever is required, I'll be able to learn, maybe unlearn also and relearn as per the requirement. Okay, so if you have this clarity regarding as a mindset, you will do well in PhD. But in the admission time, we usually look into that if you have a fair amount of idea regarding what is the exact area you want to work on. Okay, so there is no need for you to go deep into detailing that what will be uh, the approach to get it, because that's where we're flexible and it keeps on iterating over that next 4 5 years that what should be the approach to reach that final goal or the final solution. But you should have a pretty much clarity regarding what is the area that you want to work on. For example, if you're willing to work on learning sciences, what is that exact research problem that you are looking into, or which part of learning sciences you are interested in? Okay, just for an example. So you need to have some clarity on that. Okay, Adil's question: are there additional tests for PhD, like we cleared NET and also and after selection for the interview? So Adil, our admission process goes like that: you have a written test here, irrespective of whether you are applying in whichever you have a cleared NET or not, and whichever category you are applying. Every candidate has to go through a written exam, and once you qualify in that written exam, you are called for an interview, and based on your final score in both written and interview, you are if you can come within that merit list, you are given admission as per your um, requested port of getting entry, whether it's a TA category, FA category, or sponsored. Okay. I guess there are no more questions. Amrit has given a detail regarding what can be the good, what are the approaches that you should be taking depending upon the qualification that you have. Okay, so please go through that. Okay, Arjun's question is ongoing collaboration with international universities. Yes, there are some ongoing collaborations with universities, but it's not, I mean, your admission to the PhD program is not based on that. So if it happens because of a collaboration, that is being taken separately, not as a part of this process. Are graduates of Master of Public Policy MPP program at IIT Bombay eligible to apply under the TA category? Okay, so if you have a gate and or a valid CSI or UGC, you you probably can. I just need to check once with the admissions department to see whether this particular specific degree is eligible or not. But yes, we can get back to you. So just write to us, Ashmita, in an email, and we'll get back to you. Okay. Okay, can you tell us more about the written test? So the syllabus or the written test is primarily consist of both multiple choice questions and subjective questions. Okay, there are certain portions from the broad domain of education where you will be asked some questions on. Okay, and based on that, your written on the score that you get on the written paper, you are called for interview if you if you score above the threshold score cut off. Okay. Yes, so please do write to the admissions.et@iitb.ac.in. This is our official email ID, and we will be happy to answer your questions in a more detailed way. Okay, this is a question from Shakshi. Thanks for giving the overview of the research. My question is there any research work going on building programming learning environment for kids? Code.org and Scratch are there, but without any instructor. Difficult to understand even basic code. Are there any research projects where we can visualize the biology? Okay, so I think you are asking two different questions. Okay, so let me answer it. There are separate research works that are going on programming learning. Okay, so one is for adult, and one of the students who is working with Professor Sridhar Iyer is also looking into that, fostering that computational thinking. So probably in that work, it's more related to creating a learning environment for kids. Okay. Regarding research project where you can visualize the biology, yes, we have some previous research works where we worked on biology as a core subject area. And but as of now, ongoing, there is some research work that is going on understanding the data, cell theory of biology in a metaverse-based world. If you have any other questions, please write, or if you can just unmute yourself and ask.
Regarding the things people were asking, so for different opportunities of going abroad and different foreign universities. So there are different programs by IIT and the government of India and other international governments which have a MOU. So after getting admission here, if the projects comes in and you are eligible, the things happen like that also. And people asking for net, so currently you can check with the website and you can also write up on the mail. We'll like to clarify there, but currently with what the admission reports say, we require JRF, UGC, or uh, CSIR JRF. If any other questions are there.
Just to make a clarification, so those who have degrees like MA, MEd, and so you have two sort of gateways. One is to have either a valid gate score or a CSIR, UGC, JRF. JRF is mandatory. So that's all I wanted to say.
Sir, there's a question asking by Jakishan, can we
Okay.
collaborate with
Can we collaborate with IIT Bombay by enrolling to state government universities? Well, Jaitishan, as of now, there is no official collaboration between IIT Bombay and a state university to the best of my knowledge. But I mean, what exactly you mean by collaboration here? Is it like, are you thinking of doing a PhD in a state university and you want to have some advisor from IIT Bombay? Is this the collaboration that you are talking about? Okay, I think you cannot, you may get a co-guide from IIT subject to some rules, some approvals from both the state university and IIT Bombay. But it's a different process, not a part of the regular admission here. Okay, Adil, what about only NET? I am qualified for assistant professor for PhD admission, but not for JRF. So Adil, no, in that case, you cannot apply for the FA category because FA category specifically requires to you to have that approval that you have received, that you will be getting the financial assistance.
Professor Sham, what about for the TA category? I think we should clarify that also. If they want to apply for TA
Yes.
and they don't
So
have a JRF, I think, yeah.
so for
Sir, you're not audible.
so yeah, sorry. You can definitely apply under the TA category, but if you want to apply for the FA category, you need to have that JRF one.
I think we should check this because the rules that we had on the website, they're mainly for TA. We didn't say anything about FA. Amrit, did you have a clarification earlier about this?
Yes, ma'am. So I think when you're applying as a for the TA position, you either need a valid gate score or you need a UGC or CSIR JRF. So JRF is mandatory there also. And the other route is FMA. You definitely need a UGC JRF.
So the reason we are discussing this a little bit is this assistant professor thing came about just last year. Okay, so the rules were not very clear about it. So that's why we'll just check and let you know exactly. But the way we have written it, I mean, the way the rules are written as of now, it's that the JRF is mandatory for FA as well as TA. This is my understanding. We will just get back, otherwise write to us. Yes, so next question is MTech graduates are exempt from the national exam route as per website. Yes, the reason is there is an assumption here that in order to get MTech admission, you would have had to clear gate at some point. Okay, so that is the assumption. Hence, MTech graduates are exempt.
I would like to answer this question now. So, hello, Swarnima. So, I'm also a MET, and I also didn't have a technical background, but the rigor to learn new thing, if you have that, you can also learn, because with the current advent of learning tools and AI tools, it's easier to create these things, and the environment of the department is very supportive for the technical and non-technical both, because even for everybody who is coming on the same ground, and it's an interdisciplinary department, so we are all working on the same thing at the same level. So we try to like the department tries to provide everything and facilitate that better learning is taking place. Hope I have answered it.
Okay, any other questions?
Uh, Sir, I will, if there is no questions coming in, I will also repeat the process again. What is the admission process? So the forms are currently open. You can apply, and while applying, you have to fill an SOP, statement of purpose, and when the selection list comes in, after you're called for a written test. After the written test, the interview is there, and on the basis of both written test and the interview, the selection merit list is decided. Hope we all have confirmed and cleared all the queries you guys were having. And if you have any problem still and if the queries are still there, please write to admissions.et@iitb.ac.in. And on the behalf of Center for Education Technology, I'd like to thank you everyone for joining the open house, and all the best for the prospective PhDs. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. All the best.
Thank you. Others, if you have any other questions, you can still message and or you can leave the chat. Thank you. Okay, we are closing the chat for everyone.